What if I told you that the thing you think is holding you back from changing your life isn't what you think? Most people think they need a perfect plan, the right timing, or complete clarity before they can actually begin again. But here's what I discovered after rebuilding my life multiple times over. The most powerful transformations don't actually start with a plan. They start with a pause. If you're new here, I'm Kylie Kwan. I'm a self-development life coach, and I help women go from overwhelm to ownership using practical tools and spiritual practices to reflect, reimagine, realign, and reclaim who they are and the life they actually want to be living. But more than that, I'm a divorced single woman in my 50s. I'm also a mom of two, an empty nester, and someone who's still figuring things out, just like you. Because growth isn't about having it all together. It's actually about having the courage to begin again. When I moved to Chicago earlier this year, I really wanted to hit the ground running. New city, new chapter, new me, right? I had lists, I had goals, I had multiple timelines for everything I wanted and needed to get done so that I could feel settled. I mean, after all, I am a self-development life coach who helps women get their lives together in life, love, and business. But 3 weeks in, I still found myself sitting in a completely empty apartment. I had a bed, I had some clothes and a few kitchen items, and of course I had my cat Finn, but the rest of my stuff hadn't arrived to Chicago from Boulder due to some delays. And of course, the sale of my house in Boulder had some unexpected snags, and on top of that, I had just started the healing process of ending my 7-year relationship. So thanks to coaching myself, I was handling things well, at least on the surface. These are the moments I had to remind myself what I coach my clients on. The unexpected events that happen, no matter how well you plan things out. It's all part of being a spiritual being, having a human experience. This is just life. I knew I had to go into my self-development toolbox for something. These are what I call practical magic. The things that shift the energy, my perspective, and really address my nervous system. So instead of forcing myself to keep pushing, I paused. Not because I was giving up, but because I understood something that society doesn't want you to know. The pace of your forward movement, getting things done, or healing, doesn't need to actually match the pace of the world. Here's what I want you to understand about the power of a pause. First, a pause is not weakness. It's actually wisdom. So look at nature. Trees don't apologize for going dormant in the winter. They're not behind because they're not growing leaves in January. They're actually gathering strength for what's coming next. They're in preparation. Second, society glorifies finishing strong, doing it fast, getting it done, but peace comes from finishing the present. We're so obsessed with the finish line that we forget we're actually living our lives right now, this moment, this breath, this choice. Third, reflection creates a clarity that actions need. You can't course correct if you don't know where you are, and you can't choose your next step if you haven't acknowledged where your feet are planted right now. This is the reflect pillar of my Courage to Course Correct framework in action. When you pause to reflect, you're not procrastinating. You're actually gathering intelligence, the data that you need. And more importantly, in the pause, you're listening to your inner wisdom instead of the noise around you. And you know, life has a lot of noise. Always remember, you are the greatest expert on you. And in the pause, you connect with yourself. You hear what's right for you, your inner guidance, your intuition, because everything you need is actually within you when you're willing to be still and quiet enough to listen. That night in my Chicago apartment, I didn't make a plan. I didn't set any more goals. I didn't try to figure it all out. I just sat with myself. I breathed. I listened. And you know what I heard? You don't need to have it all figured out or get everything done in this moment. I also heard you may have all these things that aren't going well, but you also have so many more things that are going well and are pretty awesome. All these other things creeping in is just noise. So in that pause, in that moment of stillness, I gave myself something no amount of planning ever really could. Permission to be exactly where I was, permission to not know what's coming next, permission to trust what the right next step would be, and that it would reveal itself when I was actually ready to see it. So if you're watching this and you feel stuck, overwhelmed, or like you're behind, here's what I want you to do right now. I want you to pause. Take 3 deep breaths with me. Breathe it in and breathe it out. Breathe it in and breathe it out. One more. Breathe it in and breathe it out. You feel the energy shifting already? Now ask yourself these 3 questions. Where am I rushing through in my own life? What moment today deserves more of my attention? What am I noticing right now that I usually overlook? These aren't just questions you need to answer perfectly. They're invitations to pause, to be present, to really remember that you're actually not lost and you're definitely not behind. You're becoming. You're growing and transforming. You're becoming the next version of yourself. The most courageous thing you can do today isn't to have all the answers. It's actually to pause long enough to hear what your soul, your spirit, the universe, your guides wants you to know. To take a pause for your nervous system to catch up, to pause and show appreciation and gratitude for all the wonderful things that are actually present. Remember, you don't need a big plan to begin again. You just need the courage to pause. Keep pausing, keep reflecting, keep becoming. I'll see you in the next video.